Remember when they gave us abstinent cards?
Yes, the abstinence cards. The abstinence.
Wait, what are these?
Oh my god.
Describe it, please.
We went to a talk about a man who's like a former. This was like a lot of the Catholic schools in the area. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes. It was a giant talk, and they split up boys and girls. They had a giant divider. He was talking about like sex does not come before marriage. You should love the person, all that. And then they gave us abstinence cards. We wrote down our
Had to
names, sign them. You could keep them in your wallet. Basically, they were like the size of credit cards or debit cards.
And if you didn't want to have sex, you would just show the person. Like
yeah,
that was the whole thing.
That you were holding. It was basically literally a V card.
Yes.
They gave you a literal virginity
and they would give
card.
us like, they also gave us like little journals and stuff about like, it was wild. I think that was 7th grade or something.
I remember this.
I was also going to talk about, I think it was 8th grade or 7th grade or something. They brought in a lady to talk to us about like, in the most Catholic way, sexual abuse and like STDs.
Yeah.
Like I remember she was full on showing us pictures of like what it could do to your, like what they look like on your body and stuff. And I was like, that is gross. And I wasn't looking. She was like, excuse me, is there something wrong with you? And I was like, I don't want to look at the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at the pictures.
They fear factored abstinence into us.
And I was like, because it was trying to basically scare you into being abstinent. And I was like, I'm not. The pictures were gross.
Oh my god.
Like I have more of a stomach now. I could look at them now, but in 8th grade, I was not doing that.
Obviously,
sister.
fucking worked.
Okay, but I am curious if I can ask one question. During all the sex ed stuff, did they ever suggest anything about gay people and gay sex?
No, why would they?
But
those people don't exist.
Not even. Just
I wish gay people existed. I would give them a kiss on their little tiny foreheads.
No, but I mean in terms of just like, because I know Catholic
there was
people,
not an inkling that they thought anybody in that class would be gay. They did not care.
That was not a reality.
Care. That was not a real
but
reality.
Was there any like wording or phrasing like they're like, because sex only happens between men and women? Was there any like heteronormativity like?
I mean, it was just like, it was almost like nice in the way that they just weren't even like that. Or was just wrong. Like this is default. They didn't mention it at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
At all. There was no chance. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So they weren't teaching about douching or...
Why would they?
Okay, we're Catholic school, not fucking public school, where we get an STD from sitting on the toilet over
doesn't
there.
Hurt to be clean.
Yeah.
That is wild. But wait, so when I remember 9th grade at they brought the abortion people in, you know, like the abstinence people, and they brought the little pint-sized baby 3D print thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like, this is what it looks like in the woman's stomach. And it was like this big, and that's like not true. Like it's literally a lie that they had showed us around the class.
Bring people to go to like Catholic. It wasn't Catholic Stay on the Hill. That was something else. But it was like the March for Life. They would have a whole thing where they sponsored people to go to the March for Life.
Yeah. I was about to go to that, and then luckily a snowstorm canceled it, and that was the one. And then I had, and then I had a moment where I was like, I'm actually pro-choice because my mom and I had a conversation about it. God, it was such a
wait. Is Claire pro-choice?
Well, just wait. So
okay.
Claire and I were driving home one night, and this was my Catholic, like, zealot, like, I was going down a right-wing path.
No, you were.
And,
it was scary.
And I don't know if it was, like, I think it was going to that, like, cleared me a little bit. And then also North Carolina.
And it also helped that Jack was your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My future husband. And so I was like, I really, like, I'm pro-choice. My mom still wanted me, like, was okay with me going for the March for Life.
Yeah.
But she, I was like, yeah, I don't believe there's any circumstance where a woman needs to give an abortion. I'm like fucking 12 at this point, 12 or 13. I have no concept of like incest or rape or any of that. Yeah. And so she's like, yeah, you don't know until you're there. And I was like, what did that mean?
Wait, there's gray area?
Yeah.
Wait, there's
and
like
that was
depth
her way of like
there's consequences and there's actually like a deeper understanding.
And that was my first introduction to like Claire being not in total line with Catholic protocol, even though it was very fucking
Claire
obvious.
being based.
Yeah.
Well, it does make sense.
So she was pro-choice.
Because like my mom, fiercely liberal. Like
right.
I don't think my mom would have entertained being friends with Claire if they did not align on certain political beliefs like that.
Yeah, and so she was pro-choice. And so I don't know how she like let me go to Catholic school sometimes. I think she wanted the Catholic education, but I also think she was
basically a prep school at that point, and they just tacked on a theology class other than that.
And then forced us to go to mass.
Yeah.
Well, Saint, I'm talking about
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I don't know how she let me do that, but that was that.
Mm-hmm.
What else were we going to talk about? Oh, the
Wait,
physics.
I have
The
a
March
question
for
about
Life or-
your brother Clark then. So where did he go to school? Did he go to Sumner Academy then just...
And yes.
So he never went to...
No.
Okay.
No. So that explains a lot of things.
I think it does too.
Yeah.
Do you know my mom used to teach CPR to all the Sumner Academy people?
Yeah, that's how I was like, no way you know Kelly, my best friend's mom. And they're like, yeah, she teaches CPR. And I was like, and that was like the first time of object
Like,
permanence.
my mom is such an icon in the greater Hendersonville, Gallatin area.
That's for
Because
sure.
she's taught probably 20% of them CPR.
Yeah, she's saving lives out here.
At some point. And it's so, like, I should be so lucky to have such an iconic parent, you know?
Do you know CPR?
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Okay.
I'm certified.
I'm
Are
no
you certified?
I was. I think I lost my certification. I'm certified from like blood, like what is it?
For,
Blood wounds? Like what is it?
Stop the bleed.
Yeah, stop the
Yeah.
bleed. I got that certification,
Yeah.
and I used to be CPR certified when I was a Girl Scout, but I'd have to get recertified now.
I'm
I haven't-
certified, bitch, and AED training.
I know what it is. I've never been officially certified, though.
Do you at least know from
Yeah.
your mom? Okay, that's good.
But
You should PSA to the people out there. I really recommend getting an updated one because shit has changed.
it changes, like, every few years.
Yeah.
I will say probably my training that my mom did for me just personally when I was in high school is probably not correct anymore.
We couldn't graduate high school in North Carolina if we didn't have a CPR certification.
That's so based.
But
That is
also,
a-
it was
I
like
Why
really
don't we
like
have that
That
shit?
should be necessary.
That is like necessary things that you should know.
Yeah.
It took-
Like that
it was like a
and
20-minute
Heimlich, how to work basic things like that.
it was like a 20-minute class, but it was still so worth it.
And also, you should learn how to use a fire extinguisher.
I
think that
did
should
learn
be something
that.
that people should be trained to know how to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck
yeah,
if
I
there's
had to
instructions
be-
on the side of it. There's a fire.
I had to be
We can't be
trained-
reading.
Yeah, I had to be trained in that when I was an RA because like I'd be the one to go to in case there was an
Yeah.
emergency. I did get recertified as an RA, but I probably need to get recertified again.
Yeah.
Can I say an a very possibly controversial opinion?
Yeah, welcome to the pod.
I really think kids should, people, it should be, I think hunter and gun education should be more widely available. I think people should know how to disarm a gun in case of like, and I know that's
I think
like,
you're right.
I think it's like
I
uniquely
100%
American.
agree with that.
And I hate to say it because I don't, like, I know, like, I have guns, but I'm not a gun nut. Like, I'm not like, oh, we need to carry every time we go to the fucking Waffle House. Like, no. But, like, unfortunately, a lot of fear also comes from guns. But if you know how to disarm and if you know how a gun works, then hopefully there's a lot less fear if stuff happens. And also, if you find a gun in the woods or if you find, like, a gun anywhere, you're like, oh, I know that this is loaded because this is like this. So there's like some hunter education that I think, and kids maybe would shoot them, like accidentally shoot themselves less. But that's also because they don't know how to.
100%.
I
I
don't
think
know
you're
how to store a
100%
gun.
right. That should not be a controversial opinion. I was thinking about learning more about like I think more people should learn about firearms and
Yeah.
like not to sound
Firearm
corny,
safety.
but yeah, but like
We live in a country with guns.
Yeah.
and
It's
that's
just
just
the
a
fact of the
fact.
matter.
It's like because what I was thinking, not to be like corny, and like I know some people hate the code words like guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah.
But that is, but no, but like that is kind
Guns
of
are like
true.
superpowers to people.
I know they are, but like I feel as if the reason that the guns are superpowers is because the ideology behind like the person, if they have the wrong ideology, that's when it becomes violent. Like if you're hunting and like you're using it to protect people for good reasons, then it's
Right.
good. But if you're using it obviously in the interest of capital,
Yeah.
like most police officers do,
Right.
or if you're racist and you hate black people, or you're very like you're a eugenicist and you don't
Right.
like. That's when like it's only when the gun is in the hands of that person that it becomes very dangerous. Like with any like think of the shootings we've had for these past few years, it's mostly been
Yeah, like the
white
Coventry
supremacist
shooting.
weirdos.
Incels. Yeah.
And incels. It's been people who like are
Radicalized
eugenicists, hate
online.
women, or racist. It's not. There's no person who's like, oh, I want to protect my family. Well, unless they're already racist and they're like the black person's gonna come.
Right.
kill
It's
my
somebody who's
family.
already in those beliefs.
Yeah, like nobody who's like me. If I had a gun, there's no way I'm gonna be like going around because like I have no reason to unless somebody's coming to attack me.
And it's also like how you grew up with guns. So I was
Yeah.
taught how to handle a gun from like 5 or 6, and but I was taught that it was for hunting. Like that was my frame of lens. If you teach a kid, oh, this is to hurt people or this is to like show off to people, if you're really into the gun world or like understand firearm, like the psychology about it, I can clock pretty quickly who I don't want to be around with if they have a gun, because they have an overwillingness to show me. They're like, oh, you should see my gun. Oh, you're a gun person. I love guns. Blah blah blah. And there's definitely a very quick line that they cross in my mind of like, why do you want to like?
Why do you want to hold this?
Right. Like you see guns as tools, not as something to keep showing off to friends.
Yeah.
And like if you use that to get social capital in a different form, that to me is like, ooh, I really think you're an insecure person who
shouldn't have the firearm.
Exactly. You feel more of a man, quote unquote, or more of a person if you have firearms, because you're going to feel threatened a lot easier. And I think that's why we just keep giving guns to threatened people, or to people who are vulnerable, insecure. But I mean, yeah, like in Alaska, the gun culture is much different than anywhere I've thought of. Like people, we have it for bears, we have it for hunting, we have it for protection, but not for protection from other people. We have it for protection from wildlife, because shit happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So like the culture up there is a much more safe culture in my mind than a lot of the lower 48.
Yeah.
So I really like Alaska gun culture. Anyway.
Yeah, Tennessee gun culture is not positive.
Right. And I heard you guys had like Nazis last week or something marching down.
Yeah.
2-3
Like
days
on
ago on
Sunday?
like I saw on Roz alerts like Patriot Front or whatever, like Pride Boys were marching through downtown Nashville.
Nazis, yeah.
I just don't get how like.
And then the police were like, guys, don't hurt them. They're
Why
not
is
doing
that?
anything.
Ugh.
Right, but then when you go for Palestine or something like that,
But
then
also
you
just
get
like
tear
even
gas.
All of a
pride
sudden, it's
parades
like-
have almost gotten, I feel, violent in Nashville over the years, because they always protest during their like march, and I think police are far more hostile to them
Oh, for sure.
than they
they
are with
100%
actual Nazis walking down the
are.
street.
Exactly. That's the MO. And also it goes back to like there's this thought of like removing guns from everybody, like okay, the solution to mass shootings is like removing guns. And then there's also this really powerful movement that's like, no, like minorities or marginalized groups need to arm themselves. And I have seen an uptick in that of like black gun clubs coming up, LGBTQ gun clubs coming up, like safe spaces for those, because now it's becoming like a real fucking threat, especially with Project 2025 of danger to marginalized communities.
I mean, it's already marginalized communities have already been in danger for a long, long time.
Sundown
And so-
towns, all that stuff.
Yeah, and so like it makes sense that like now more people are going back to like the 70s, like thinking of like, oh, maybe we need to actually like, because the only way at this point in this country you're gonna get respect is by taking it.
Right.
So it makes sense. And then because like I said, it's like when you realize like the why people are wielding guns, you realize like you said, guns are tools.
Right.
Guns do not kill people. Like a gun that's just lying in the middle of somewhere isn't gonna hurt me unless a Nazi comes up to me and is like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like you
Right.
or your ideology, and then they shoot you because like the bits of caustic terrorism we've had over the years, consistently it's been white supremacists. You said incels, like white supremacists, incels, eugenicists,
Men with no place in our society who
Yeah.
feel
Like
that they have no place in our
the
society.
And that's where most of U.S. domestic terrorism like comes from. I know a couple years back when ISIS was a thing, it was like specifically like U.S. like signal holds, but it's
ISIS really fell off.
They did fall off.
And that's the problem. Like, so
The context of
I just processed the ISIS thing.
and that's the problem.
I had a boss.
ISIS fell off.
This is true. I had a boss recently, not my current boss. I like a boss of a boss. We were in a training,
Boss.
and he looks at us and he goes, "You know what, guys? We're having this whole like I'm part of a bigger corporation, like one arm of a bigger corporation." And he kind of is getting into this, like, we all need to be one together. Like, that's the whole thing, is one. And he goes, we need to be more like ISIS. We have different sects who have a radical mission.
Oh my god.
Who just, like...
Not the analogy I want to hear.
Who, like, when one cell falls down, another pops up. Like, that's, like, they just have it figured out. And I'm like...
Like we're a
What
hydra
the
or something.
Like parasites? Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I was like...
Whatever happened to like Camp Rock? Like we can't back down.
I was like, well, how do we get to ISIS?
yeah, that's a hop, a leap, and a skip and a jump.
A bit more than that, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a cannon shoot.
But,
doing a little too much.
but like, if you see like I was like, whoa.
And then you snitch on him?
ISIS. Well, I told everybody I knew.
Yeah.